If you are easily offended by potential criticism, I suggest you to click off this video, otherwise the viewer discretion is advised. If you're here, you've probably already seen my last video discussing AI art generators. If not, I encourage you to go watch that video first, so what I'm about to say would make more sense. For my last video where I discussed AI image generators, there are some comments that caught my attention. These comments made me think about our modern world's rapid consumerism and how it impacts the human condition. Just a disclaimer, I am not forcing anyone to think in any particular way, so just take what I'm about to say as you will. Some of the comments in my last video made me realize how I am giving too much credit to the general public, as the general public do not care about meaningful art, but instead they just like pretty things, as well as how the majority of consumers just want a pretty picture. Even though there's nothing inherently wrong with liking something pretty, it becomes an issue when the only thing that you care about is something so shallow. In the past, I've noticed that many people often fail to think deeply about anything, and I do mean anything. They oftentimes fail to evaluate the other factors that impact a situation and just jump to black and white conclusions without considering the many aspects of the circumstances when making a statement. This can be very problematic in the long run. Oftentimes, people are just chasing the instantaneous quick fun and just start chasing the next pleasurable thing regardless of whether or not it is meaningful. In the past years, I tried to ignore these aspects of people due to my own biases of not wanting to discredit people so much, but now I must face the truth. This is even reflected in our media, as it is now flooded with shallow content, with an abundant amount of repeated concepts being presented in a shallow manner. For example, I've noticed that people are constantly just copying what is considered to be popular, almost exactly as it was, without putting much, if not any, envisions to what they are copying, such as the tedious, overly used robot voice.
You're probably sick of my voice. I'm sick of my voice.
Or these facts videos of someone narrating elaborate facts over a Minecraft parkour footage. I don't think something like this is healthy for the human condition, nor is it healthy for the intellectual needs of us humans to rapidly consume nearly identical content on repeat for long durations of time without anything thought-provoking or meaningful being added. Don't get me wrong, it's fine to have some simple fun once in a while, but it becomes problematic once it overtakes the majority of your spare time. I am also someone who once fell trap into the cycle, and it was very mentally agonizing without me even realizing at the time. I do acknowledge that there are still some people who value the deeper meaning within certain things, but the number of those people are still disproportionately lower than those that chase shallow pleasure, which in itself is saying something about our society. But going back to what I have said about AI image generators from my last video, I think the same pattern are being reflected on people's attitudes towards the pictures generated by these artificial intelligence, as these pretty pictures are very shallow, but that's what the majority of consumers want, and they do not care about the deeper meanings behind real artworks. I've observed this attitude in many people before. I've seen people going out of their way to avoid digging into the deeper meaning within certain things, even though that effort is totally worth it. People are even avoiding or disliking studying, or just grab whatever facts were taught in lectures and go, without enriching themselves with what else may be connected to the lecture's content. I think these are both concerning and unhealthy for the human condition. Some of those people who use AI image generators believe that they are creating art, but the truth is, they themselves are not the ones creating anything. The quote-unquote creativity from the AI-generated pictures are not from the person inputting the prompt. They're from the countless images in the AI's machine learning database, which are all from the artists whose copyrighted artworks are used without their permission. While with real artworks, the human intent is from the formation of all the visual elements, including the form, color, texture, every single detail, and the reasons why the artwork is constructed this way. The only human intent behind AI-generated pictures is from one thought from the person inputting the prompt. which is absolutely incomparable to the uniqueness of intent from the fully human-made real artworks. And that is just the truth. Sometimes the truth is hard to hear, especially for certain people, but we still need to address them. Although these AI-generated pictures are not art, they can still be used as placeholders, such as a background or a pretty picture to fill a space. So, at the end of the day, AI-generated pictures are not completely useless. They can still be used for something that does not require any deep meaning. But we still need to acknowledge the disrespectful nature of the development of AI image generators, as the people who are developing these technologies are using artworks created by artists who poured their sweat and tears into creating these artworks, but with these artworks being placed into a machine learning database without even asking for permission, which is absolutely just disrespectful. Once this issue is sorted out, these pictures can be freely used by anyone since Section 306 of the Copyright Act protects original works of authorship, which the AI-generated pictures do not qualify for. I believe that as humans, we are meant to create and use technology, but I think that we need to use this technology the right way, as well as inventing them responsibly. This includes being considerate of its effects on the organisms that live around us, but also how it impacts us as humans. Although inventing technology that help us humans is okay, but I don't think that it is right or makes sense to invent something to mimic us humans. This includes creating machines that do what we do, such as writing stories or poetry, being doctors, as well as creating art. It just doesn't make sense to do, nor does it seem right. In fact, it feels very, very wrong.